Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to The Devils TV. Myself and Nick are going to be here chatting about the latest news for Manchester United and transfer news. So, Nick, we'll just get right into it, and thank you for all the audience. Let's just see who's here quickly. You've got Keeper, let's go. Very excited. Nice to have you in the chat, pal, as always. And the Bouncing Off the Ropes podcast. I'm here, matey. Nice to see you, Mumsy, as always. But anyway, let's just get right into this. And Amrabat is the latest news that we are going to be talking about. So, just reading off the reports of these major views and stuff, it's the United stand have tweeted today that Sofyan Amrabat will not be on Fiorentina's pre-season tour as a move to MUFC gets closer, and that's by the AGRRED. Is an Italian source. So, Nick, what do you actually know about Sofyan Amrabat?
I'll be honest, not a lot. But he sounds
Okay.
he sounds a good player.
So with Amrabat, obviously he's a Fiorentina holding midfielder who will definitely not cost us a lot of money. The reported fee does say up as we do scroll up onto the news, but I'll just say it now. It is being reported between 20 to 30 million euros, which is going to be, I feel like, a cheap alternative. He's definitely better than a lot of the current midfielders that we have. He's better than Fred. He's better than McTominay. So I feel like with Sofyan Amrabat, he's definitely got a weird playing style as well with the way he plays, but he's very aggressive in the tackle and he's a very positive player that we should be going for. And considering that, I mean, I'm going to read out all the articles in a minute, so we'll just continue with it. But there's this nice little edit from Morgan saying that Sofyan Amrabat is not in training with the Fiorentina squad. He is training on his own. So, Nick, with that news there, what would you say about Sofyan Amrabat? Obviously, he's kind of isolated himself from the Fiorentina squad. Do you think this move is looking quite imminent, or would you say that it's just a bit of gossip news?
Yeah, I like to say it's imminent. Obviously, if he's trying to get his heavy training on a solo session, then I'd like to say that the move's looking on the cards,
Yeah, definitely. And obviously the surprises as well. Obviously, I put it in the title as well about Rasmus Hojlund, a player who we've mentioned a lot of times on this channel. But with Hojlund, that deal seems to be stalled at the moment because Laurie Litwell, or I think it was David Ornstein, it was one of the two, have tweeted out today that it's not 85 million euros that Atalanta want. It's now 85 million pounds that they want, which accumulates to nearly 100 million euros, which is absolutely crazy. And if that's the case and Atalanta aren't budging from that, then just walk away from the deal. I really like Hojlund, but again, you can get way better, more experience. You can get way more experienced players for that price tag, in my opinion. And Hojlund is a great prospect, but I just don't know how it's all blown out of the water. Atalanta have now recently signed a new striker. They're definitely going to replace Rasmus Hojlund. But at the end of the day, I just don't understand why they're demanding so much money. Considering right at the start of the window, they were reported around 50 million euros, and United then just offered about, I think it was 35 million pounds to start off with. And then it's just increased and increased as the window's gone on and on and on. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous now. The fact that it's being reported that nearly 100 million euros for Rasmus Hojlund is absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, continue about Sofyan Amrabat. The MUFC PB says that Manchester United have made a bid worth of 25 million euros plus bonuses for Sofyan Amrabat. So it kind of seems to be that Amrabat is going to be the player that we're going to bring in, and that's going to allow us to sell someone like McTominay to West Ham or Fred. So, Nick, just asking you, which one would you rather go, Fred or McTominay?
I'm going to say McTominay.
McTominay? Why?
I like them both. I just feel that Fred puts in more effort. I feel like when he's on the pitch, he seems more passionate. He seems more. I feel he gets stuck in more. Scott McTominay's good, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like Fred seems to want to fight for his place, fight to stay at Manchester United more than McTominay. I'm not saying McTominay. I'd seen like Fred's more up for it. He goes on the pitch. He's running on, he's like sort of sometimes to my players where to go and whatever, and he just seems more up for it.
Yeah, I mean, right at this second, it does seem that Fred has more offers on the table for a possible transfer. You've got Galatasaray, the Turkish side, offering about £10 million, which United have already rejected. You've got Fulham that are looking to buy him for around 15 to 20 million. So, it's looking like he's got quite a few options, Fred. McTominay's only reported transfer is West Ham at the moment, but David Moyes has been a massive admirer of Scott McTominay for a long time. And United are wanting around 40 million for Scott McTominay, which I think is absolutely ludicrous. And Nick, just out of curiosity, what would you value both players at Fred and McTominay?
Fred, I'd probably say 30 to 40, like 35 maybe. McTominay maybe, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and 35.
Okay, now I mean, I'd say that with both of them, I'd say they probably both value at the same price tag. I'd say that they both, if you get 25 million plus for both of them, I say that's a great deal, to be honest. I mean, Fred, we paid 50 million for back when he played for that Ukrainian team ages ago. And McTominay has obviously been an academy prodigy. So I do feel like both players are good squad options, but it's clear that Erik ten Hag wants the best at this club. He wants upgrades like Amrabat. So no doubt one of them are going to go once we do bring in Amrabat. And considering he's training by himself from what we're reading here, no doubt he's going to be a good player. Anyway, it says that from the United exclusive that Sofyan Amrabat is reportedly rejected an approach from Liverpool in favour of the move to MUFC. So kind of much like the Mason Mount situation, Nick. What do you think about that? Because it's clear now that a lot has changed over the last year. It was kind of like you look at Cody Gakpo and Darwin Núñez at the start of last season. We wanted Cody Gakpo and Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez favoured Liverpool over us, but now players like Mason Mount and now Sofyan Amrabat are now favouring us over our rivals Liverpool. So do you think that's a Ten Hag effect, or do you think that's just because players just actually prefer Man United now?
A few things combined: the Ten Hag effect, the way the team's playing, the team spirit, looking stronger. Obviously, signings coming in, obviously Champions League football. Players like more attracted to the club, obviously, because top four Champions League. I'd say mainly Ten Hag. Obviously, he's drilling the players. The players are fighting more, winning more games, keeping more clean sheets, conceding less goals. So overall, yeah, I'd say they want to come to a big team, especially this in the Champions League. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Simon Davis just said here, he said that I want to see Fred's passport before I'd sign him. Now, that's a joke that I made when I was I think I had like 500 subscribers or something at that point. I turned around and said that I want to check Fred's passport because some days he wakes up and he remembers he's Brazilian. And then some days I think he belongs somewhere from Stoke or something. Like Fred at times, that's my only issue with Fred is that he's very inconsistent. And some days he's the best player on the pitch. Then other days he's absolutely shambolic. Kimmich, a good mate of mine, saying fire the strong arm emoji. So Nick, I think he wants us to get our muscles out. So go on, give him a little tense. But Simon Davis as well saying that you've got the right manager end of, and he also says bingo. So I don't know have you got a full house or have you got a cheeky like diagonal? I don't know what you've got there, Simon. But if you're claiming bingo, I hope you've got a good prize, mate. But anyway, going back to the Sofyan Amrabat, obviously he's rejected Liverpool move over and to favour Manchester United. This is what I like because the fan base seems to be calling him the Moroccan Roy Keane, kind of like what Simon has just said. We do need a type of modern day Roy Keane. But yeah, I really like this, that the fact that players are now starting to reject other clubs in England to actually be a part of this Erik ten Hag project. And that's been kind of the issue over the last few years, that players have joined Manchester United on the sole purpose of the name being Manchester United. It's not the vision, it's not the plan. It's just the fact that United are still considered a big club because of our history. But now Erik ten Hag's changing that. Players want to join Manchester United to be a part of this Erik ten Hag side, and we've seen it. Erik ten Hag's getting the best out of majority of the players that he's coaching, and I think that Sofyan Amrabat, considering a few weeks ago, I haven't saved this bit on Twitter, but I believe it was Central Devils on Twitter, and they turned around and said that Sofyan Amrabat only wants to move to La Liga, but now it's been reported today that he's now wanting to join Manchester United. So, Nick, what do you think about that? Do you think that, again, that does you think that's going back to the Ten Hag effect, or do you think that's just because Sofyan Amrabat just fancies to move to Man United?
Both. I'd probably say more the Ten Hag effect, but obviously he's making the club look more attractive. You know, Champions League football. Obviously Ten Hag's the GOAT. You know.
Yeah,
top manager at the minute. You know,
he is indeed. We're very lucky to have him, and I feel like as well is that I'm going to say it out loud, and it's going to be a bit of a bold statement, but I personally rate Erik ten Hag and Jurgen Klopp more than Pep Guardiola. Now, the reason why I'm going to say that is because for me, Jurgen Klopp is the best manager in world football. The fact that what he's done with Liverpool on a minimum budget is absolutely incredible. And I can guarantee you that Jurgen Klopp, if he went to City at the time of Pep Guardiola did, Jurgen Klopp would have won at least 2 trebles by now. Like that, I can honestly guarantee it, because with that investment and what Jurgen Klopp does with players is absolutely incredible. And I'm not disrespecting Pep Guardiola here. He's done absolutely amazing for City. They've won 5 Premier Leagues out of the last 6, recently just won a treble. But realistically, City, they should have won it way sooner, in my opinion, considering how dominant they've been. It's just been their inconsistency in Europe is what's led them to not win that treble for so long. But yeah, going back up on Amrabat, it says that Sofyan Amrabat has reached an agreement in principle with MUFC for a contract until 2028. So that'll be a 5-year deal contract with a salary of 4 million per year. So just doing the quick maths, about 4 million per year. Nick, I don't know if you're a human calculator, but let's just quickly have a look. 4 million a year divided by 12, and then divide by 4. Oh shit! I've just done times.
Is it about 3,000? I think maybe.
Let's have a look. 12, then divide by 4. He'll be on about £83,000 a week, or 83,000 euros a week. So realistically, for United offering major wages, I actually quite like that. And this might be, Nick, if you remember, we had this conversation quite a few weeks ago now, where we said that this Erik ten Hag was about the Ronaldo clause or something, where he's going to try and bring in players on these lower contracts. So I feel like for 80 grand a week, probably that's what it'll be, is quite a good deal, considering Sofyan Amrabat is going to be a squad player. His role will probably be, it's hard to explain. He won't be a starter, because I feel like that the main starter will be the Mason Mount, Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes trio. But when you're playing a Real Madrid in the Champions League or a Man City or Liverpool away from home, that's when you're going to want that extra juggernaut in the midfield. And that's what Sofyan Amrabat will bring to our team, and just having that extra defensive cover. And I feel like it'll be him and Mason Mount that kind of switch around. So if we need an extra attacker on the pitch, we'll start with Mason Mount. But if we need that extra defensive cover, that's when Amrabat's going to start. That's the way that I see it going anyway. And then last bit here is saying that breaking news, Man United are preparing an official offer for Sofyan Amrabat. An agreement has already been found with Amrabat. United are thinking a proposal of 23 million euros to 25 million euros for Fiorentina. Now, considering what we're looking at, I personally feel like that would be quite a good deal. It's reported as well. I can't find it right now, but with Fiorentina, it does seem like that with Fiorentina, they will want around 25 million euros to 30 million euros. So, Nick, do you think that's a good evaluation of Amrabat?
Yeah, he's not a small price, and he's not overly priced. They're not charging the 60 million from or whatever. I think it's a pretty decent deal.
Yeah, because considering that when we signed Donny van der Beek, so many people haven't even labelled Donny van der Beek as a flop. And he's bought him for nearly £40 million. So Amrabat, I think, is kind of a low risk, kind of high reward, could be. I feel like that is one of them players that would remind me of... it would remind me... I'm trying to think of a player that has recently signed in the Premier League that's been very good for us, or very good for another team that's done really well and come in for low wages and a low transfer fee. The one that comes to mind is probably someone like Gini Wijnaldum for Liverpool quite a few years ago. Just like that brilliant squad player that will really impact us. And I personally feel like with Amrabat, he's definitely going to be one of them players. But anyway, we need to move on. So Scott McTominay is looking like he's on the verge of joining West Ham, but then he also isn't. This is the inconsistency of football Twitter. But it seems that the baseline is that the story is that West Ham really want to sign Scott McTominay for the replacement of Declan Rice, and they also want to sign Ajax's Alvarez, who's another holding midfielder. So, Nick, how would you feel about selling Scott McTominay to West Ham? Do you think that it's a good move selling him to a Premier League club, or do you think that it won't really impact us?
I don't think it really impacts us. We've got Casemiro, but obviously Mount and Casemiro's coming, but I'm surprised he's not being linked to the Saudi Arabia clubs, for like 100 million euros, like, like 20 million a week or something like that. He's just like insane money. Like Henderson went. He was on 200 grand a week at Liverpool. He's now on 700, so it's more than triple.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he's not been linked to any of them, like Al Nassr,
For some reason, I think Ronaldo's kind of done us dirty here. I think he's literally just been like, you know what? Don't talk to United. Literally, he said that to the entire Saudi Arabian league. Don't sign any United players. Let them suffer. That's literally, I think Ronaldo's kind of done. So he's kind of stiffed us really because he doesn't want to be playing with the likes of McTominay and Maguire maybe. But United, Red Devil 20, nice to see you, pal. Saying, I honestly can't believe no bid for Atalanta yet for Rasmus Hojlund. I just think this is pure incompetence from Manchester United. It's a complete joke of how we operate on and off the pitch for transfers. I completely agree with this, pal. That's probably the comment of the stream. But yeah, with Rasmus Hojlund, just to update you on that, is that we're being reported now that it isn't 85 million euros that Atalanta want. It's 85 million pounds, which accumulates to 98 million euros, which is bonkers. If United even consider paying that price, you can go and try and get a Harry Kane. You can go and try and get a Dusan Vlahovic. You can definitely go out and get someone like a Goncalo Ramos or someone like that. I think I really like Rasmus Hojlund, but this transfer saga is becoming another Frankie de Jong situation of last season. It's becoming a complete joke, and I really want Rasmus Hojlund, but it's just looking impossible now. The fact that it was once 40 million euros to sign him, and now it's literally doubled. It's a complete joke. So, Nick, what do you really know about Rasmus Hojlund? Do you feel like that he's a good enough player to be a starter for Man United, or do you think that his stats that are quite low? Do you think that he should come as a second alternative striker?
If we signed him, I think he should be given the chance to start, and then see how good he is, and then. So obviously you got Sancho playing as like the false 9 centre forward at the minute. I know it's only pre-season, but obviously he's been looking good. So if we signed him, give him the chance. Obviously we don't know what's going to happen with Martial yet. If he's obviously I know he's injury prone, but he breaks easily. But see how he plays, and obviously Ten Hag probably if he played the majority of the first couple of games, Ten Hag would decide pretty quick. Yeah, you're good enough, or you get coached enough to start, or.
Yeah, I mean with. Obviously, Rasmus Hojlund, I do feel like that he would be coming in under a lot of pressure, especially with the price tag. But I honestly think he's good enough. I really do. I feel like that him and Kolo Muani are my favourite options to sign as the striking option. And I know a lot of people don't like Kolo Muani, but the fact is the guy is 6'2". He's great in the air. He's very quick. And yes, his finishing can use some work, but he's only 23 years old. And I think for a striker, that's actually quite young. So I feel like that he'll be more ready than Rasmus Hojlund, but I just feel like Rasmus Hojlund has more potential than Kolo Muani, considering that Rasmus Hojlund has only just turned 20 years old. I believe he turned 20 in April, so he's recently young. We're definitely going to get I just want the deal to be done. United need to stop stalling. We need to get we've recently just sold Anthony Elanga. That's pretty much your money for Amrabat sorted. United just need to start selling players. Dean Henderson, what's happening with that? Fred, McTominay, Maguire, what's going on with all these transfer sagas? It's an absolute joke, Nick, to be honest. But Simon said here, saying, I disagree with the regards of Ronaldo comment. He did you a favour with his leaving comments. He simply highlighted the frailties, what does that say? Within United, right? And he also says that give you for chance and most definitely get business done. Now, with the Ronaldo saga, Nick, obviously, I want to talk to you about this, but I felt very betrayed by Ronaldo when he went on that Piers Morgan interview. But it was kind of a snowball effect, because as soon as Ronaldo did that interview and everyone found out what was going on from inside the club, within 23 hours, 24 hours, whatever it was, the Glazers rumours said that they were going to put the club up for sale. And then obviously the sale process has just been, well, the rest is history. It's still stalling. It's an absolute joke. But with everything about going on with the Ronaldo situation, do you think it was a blessing in disguise, him leaving, or do you think that he left us at the wrong time? He should have stayed till the end of the season.
Both. I know, like, apparently behind the scenes that supposedly he had like arguments with Ten Hag. Ten Hag didn't like him, and there was all the runts, and he was sat on the bench and whatever. But him leaving, doing the interview, exposing the Glazers, obviously helped us. Obviously, the club put up for sale. You got two top bidders, Jashim and Sir Jim. If it does get sold this year, then obviously Ronaldo will look back and say, I did you a favour. We got the club sold within a year, 6 months or whatever, But I think it was very brave of him doing what he did, going out on Piers Morgan and just lashing out and like just saying everything from the inside, because you got to have a lot of guts to do that, because it could have easily backfired on you massively, But
yeah, I definitely see what you're saying there, mate. And obviously with Ronaldo, he is a club legend, and like you said, it was very brave of him to do that. With the fact that obviously he's exposed United like that, but he got what he wanted out of it. He wanted out of the club, and he thought, right, what can I do that's going to get the fans to stay on my side, and he's going to allow me to leave. And he did it. He exposed United, he exposed the Glazers, and he literally said in his interview, the Glazers don't care about the football club. We don't see them, we don't hear from them. All we hear from them is about the contract situations when we're being signed or when we're getting a contract renewal. And that's disgusting, to be honest. And Ronaldo will know how it feels, because he was there when he was young, when the Glazers were still in power. Like, obviously, the Glazers have been in charge of United for 18 years now. Ronaldo left in 2009, was when he left. So obviously young Ronaldo would have had experience with the Glazers, right, early days. But yeah, anyway, let's read this comment out of United Devils 20 saying, I just think United are using financial fair play PR as an excuse to get away with another embarrassing transfer window. It's a joke, and I feel sorry for Erik ten Hag. It's so unfair on him as a manager. Now, I agree with this massively, because the Glazers have completely stabbed him in the back with Erik ten Hag, and it's kind of like the way the Liverpool owner treat Jurgen Klopp, in my opinion. And this is what I was going back to before. I personally feel like that Erik ten Hag and Jurgen Klopp are better managers than Pep Guardiola. And I'm going to say that because if Jurgen Klopp and Erik ten Hag had the same backing as what Pep Guardiola has had over the last 2 years, we'd be challenging for them, without a doubt. And it's an absolute joke, in my opinion. I wouldn't say United, but definitely Liverpool. But I'd say with United now, United spent £200 million last season, or even over that, more than £200 million last season, and we overspent massively. We could have got another striker, we could have got another player, whether it was another midfielder, another centre back, whatever. And this is the issue, because the Glazers look at it like, right, we've spent £200 million, so they can't argue. But then we're like, well, you've spent it on 4 players. What, half of it on Antony, who is unproven? And can you not see why we're frustrated? United fans are very spoiled, and I will admit that. But we want the glory days back. We want to be the best team again. And impatience is growing in the fan base. And I feel like it's a massive frustration when it comes to United fans. I mean, I'm arguing with United fans all the time on Twitter, because so many of them are spoiled and say that Garnacho's the next Messi and hyping up all these youngsters. It does my head in, to be honest, our fan base at times. Nick, I don't know how you feel about our fan base at times, but I feel like they're very spoiled. But I don't know what you think.
Yeah, sort of the same, obviously you would like to hope that, if Garnacho is the next Messi, Argentina, yeah, I doubt it, but you never know. Ten Hag effect. Look what I'd love to. Last season.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Garnacho turn into a great player, but I just feel like that with the fan base, we're very impatient at times, and I'm going to call out our fan base on that, because I just feel like that. I'm not saying anyone here is one of them fans, but it's mainly the international fans, I'd have to say, that do have this agenda where they do slate Harry Maguire. They do like want Mason Greenwood back at the club and stuff. It's all like the English fans, you could say. It's more like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just certain fans that just seem like mainly Twitter fans is the best way to know it. Not international fans, Twitter fans who want to do all this stuff, and it's absolutely disgusting the way the Glazers treat the fan base and the way certain fans treat other fans in the fan base. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But Simon's saying that I agree with Dan. That's what I'm saying. Ronaldo loves United and always will be affiliated with United. It's a win-win situation. Nathan Miles, I've not seen you since college, mate. How you doing, mate? But say yes, Dan, lad. Obviously, mate, how do you feel that obviously City are going to win the Premier League 4 times in a row now? Obviously, Nathan is a City fan. So, yeah, obviously, they don't have a very good fan channel, do they? So that's why he's still here on the United channel. So, anyway, Simon's saying that, I agree. Full backing of the manager is essential. Saying divine right to win springs to mind. Don't know what that means, but all right. And then he also says that, and Red United, they've also says that I suffer with autism, anxiety, and depression, and I just feel the way Manchester United treats us fans and supporters is disgusting. I've had nothing but stress from Manchester United all summer long. You're not the only one, pal. And obviously, having autism, anxiety, and depression, obviously, Red Devils TV are here for you. And if you ever want to reach out, we're here for you. So if you'd ever like to come on the channel and, talk, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, we're a community here and we're all about working together and being the best fan base. But yeah, obviously, I hope you're all right, pal. Nathan Miles has just put a load of laughing faces. And then Simon Port, United fans mindset. So, Nick, moving on to these most recent reports as well. Obviously, we've briefly talked about Scott McTominay, but also Harry Maguire. And it does seem that with Harry Maguire, United are now labelling him as unsellable. Now, I'm confused about this because he gets stripped of the captaincy, and then all of a sudden, he seems to be on his way out. Our personal source close to Maguire saying that he wants to leave the club, but then he now wants to stay. Now United labelled him unsellable. Why do you think that is?
The only way I can think is how they've treated him, stripping the captaincy from him. Otherwise, I can't see why they would say he's unsellable. If we spent 80 mil for him, I could say could it be at least worth 30 to 40 still. He's not a terrible player. He just makes a lot of mistakes. He could easily go to another club and just shine at another club and be better than what he was at United. Like other players leave other clubs and they just adapt quickly. He could easily go to West Ham and be their best centre back of the season.
Yeah,
I mean, class him as unsellable.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that opinion really. And with Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire, they are both linked to West Ham, so they have received a lot of money for a Declan Rice. And realistically, if you're selling Declan Rice and then you go and replace him with Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire, no doubt, I don't think West Ham fans will be very pleased with that, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. But what did you say to me last night, Nick, about Sancho?
Which part? I said a few things.
Right at the end of the show when you mentioned about him playing as a centre forward.
Oh, what way he should be given the chance?
Yeah.
I think he should be given the chance. As I said, I know he looked good the other day against Arsenal, only pre-season, but if Ten Hag's trying that because he knows that he can't get a striker, he hasn't got the budget, and he's trying to play tactically to take him off as a wing or a cam to play him as a centre forward. Yeah. If he could pull that off, then
Well, I don't know if you've quickly just flew over back to England and grew hair and stuff, and it's equally Erik ten Hag. But Erik ten Hag has come out and said in his press conference today for the Wrexham game, believe it or not, and the Real Madrid game, that he is looking like Jadon Sancho is playing better in these central roles. So, I don't know where that's come from, but maybe throughout pre-season and through training, Erik ten Hag has noticed that Jadon Sancho's more sharper in that number 10 and false 9 position. So, Nick, you might be on something here. So,
yeah, hopefully.
I definitely wouldn't say no, because if we can get the best out of Jadon Sancho, then he's going to be a very dangerous player and a very good player for us to have. But I don't know if that's just Erik ten Hag saying that, just like covering up his own back for why he's playing Sancho at centre forward at the moment. But Sancho,
you like to think he's been honest about everything, so you'd like to think that's his honest opinion of what he thinks of how Sancho's been playing.
Yeah. And the thing is, as well, we don't see him in training, do we? Obviously, we see the quick 10-minute clips on YouTube from what United post and stuff. But you can imagine that they're doing the same drills like 20, 30 times. If Jadon Sancho's like impressing Erik ten Hag and getting his opinion, that kind of excites me a little bit, because maybe we might play a little bit of how Liverpool and City played a few seasons ago, where they have that false nine striker as the as the main glue of the player, and then the wingers are the more forward attackers almost. So Marcus Rashford and Antony would be the more inverted wingers that would be the ones scoring the more goals, and Jadon Sancho is the link-up player, and we kind of got four in midfield then. And then you've got Antony and Rashford kind of being a front two almost. So it's kind of interesting to see that Erik ten Hag might continue experimenting Jadon Sancho in that centre-forward role or number 10 role. I don't think he'll play the number 10 role because of Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount. But maybe higher up the pitch as that false nine. You might be on something here, Nick. So we'll quickly just push over the what's it called? The Wrexham game. That's it. Yeah. Nick, I'll let you go first. But what are you expecting from the Wrexham game?
What is in the team or just overall?
Just from United. What are you expecting from United?
I'd probably say the youth players.
Yeah.
I reckon rest the main ones, and then Real Madrid. I still know it's only pre-season, but put like what we did against Arsenal, put like 8 or 9 of your main players out against Real Madrid, and then But I'd probably say for Wrexham, I'd be looking at like maybe Martinez and Varane start again, and then most of the youth, maybe Onana start. But I think he'd definitely play for Real Madrid. He might play for Wrexham, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like that. I'm going to try and quickly get it here. So the list of the players who travelled to Wrexham, I've got it here on my phone, is I've not even heard half of these youngsters, to be honest. So I'm looking. I mean, Nick, are you going to be waking up at 3:30 in the morning to actually?
I was planning to try whether I do or not is a different thing, but I'm hoping to. Yeah.
You're not the only one. I don't, because I've got work tomorrow at 8, so I really don't know whether I just stay up all night. I mean, I've got like 4 cans of Monster in the fridge, so that might just be my fuel to keep me up all night. But I'll just quickly read the comments. Simon saying we don't see him in training. I guess that's about Sancho. Nathan Miles saying, quick question, Dan, probably far too early yet, but top 4 prediction, and how far do you think United will go in the UCL? Great question. I mean, we are going to be doing the Premier League prediction table very soon on the channel, but I'll give you my top 4 now, and I feel like that's going to be Arsenal 4th. I'm going to go Liverpool 3rd, United 2nd, City 1st. I do feel like City do get the back-to-back 4 times in a row. And that is very painful for me to say as a United fan, but I just think that's the way it's going to go. I feel like that Arsenal fans are very overhyping their current squad. Yes, they've got a very valuable squad, and yes, they have got very good players. But I think that this is the year Arsenal should have won it. This was their only opportunity, and they bottled it. So I think they're going to go another 20 years of not winning the Premier League. I just really don't see them having that extra mentality. I think they'll be absolutely knackered. I feel like that Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, and Yuri Timber for £200 million, it's just not enough for them. So that's just my opinion anyway. But I still think they'll get top 4 because they are a very decent side. But yeah, that'll be my top 4 prediction. Nick, what's your top 4 prediction?
Bit different too. I'll probably go City, United, Newcastle. I reckon they get top 4. Liverpool, Arsenal. I don't know.
Okay, that's quite interesting. And obviously, to answer Nathan with the UCL, it's the first time in a while United have been back in the UCL, and every time we've played in the UCL, we've not got past the round of 16 in the last 5 years, and every time we've dropped out of the Champions League, we've gone in the Europa League. I do feel like United win the group stage, but again, it really depends on what our group is. But I do feel like we will progress through the group stage. And I would say probably around the round 8, because the quality of the teams will really step up then. And I just feel like that United still are quite a bit of a distance of competing for the very end for the UCL. I'd love us to try and win the UCL. It'd be amazing to win the Champions League. But I just feel like that, you know, it's far too early to predict, like Nathan said in his comment. But again, I just feel like that United just still aren't ready to be competing with the very best. But Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, well, Onana had that bold statement where he came out and said that he wants to win the Champions League. So can he do it in his first season?
Be brilliant. Doing Erling Haaland, but in net. That'd be absolutely brilliant.
Could he do the double, get the Prem and the Champions League?
I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it. I know what, I'd make a promise right now. If United win the Premier League or the Champions League this season, I'll give 500 quid to every single person in this chat right now. Like, I'm probably going to be bankrupt, but, you know, every single person that's in this, I've got 4 people watching right now. So that's also including you, Nick. So, you know, anyone, that's $2,000 I owe you if United win the Premier League or the Champions League this season. I'm going to say that with chest right now. Kimmich says that, do you think Mainu will be a starter? Now, that's a very good comment. I do feel like Mainu is going to be the project Garnacho this season, we're going to call it. I feel like that Mainu looks very calm and confident on the ball. He looks very ahead of his current teammates that are his the same age as him. I just feel like that he's very good. So yeah, I do feel like that Mainu will be our next prospect to be embedded into the senior squad. Simon says that's exactly what does that say? That's exactly where United are heading, and I said this to you as a Blue knows time ago. Pass and move, it's Liverpool's groove, and says that United will be lucky to get out of the group stages in Champions League wise. They will be close but no cigar. I mean, I'm guessing he said City first, or I don't know what he means by that. Is City coming fourth or City coming first? I'm not too sure about that one. I'm going to guess he means first, though. And he says that City first, Newcastle second, United third, and Arsenal fourth. Kieran just put a load of laughing faces. Nathan said, no one getting 500 quid then. You never know, mate. You never know. And then obviously Simon saying that, oh, my sweet butter crumpets, I'd love 5 ton. I don't know what 5 ton of, but, you know, hopefully you mean the £500 wise. And anyway, obviously we're going back to the youth teams of who is going to be playing for the Wrexham game. And we've got Sonny Al-Jafri, Toby Collier, Johnny Evans, Will Fish, Isaac Hansen-Aaron, Eli Harrison, Joe Hugill, Mark Gerardo, Willie Camberwella, Charlie McNeil, Demott Me, Matteo Megile, Maxi Oyedeli, Logan Pye, and Shola Shoratire, and Noam Emran. So with that, Nick, obviously you're probably right with the youth team are going to play, including Johnny Evans. But at the end of the day, I feel like that it's going to be a great testament to them getting the experience they need. Obviously, Wrexham are a League 2 side now, so hopefully it gives these youngsters a chance to maybe audition for Eric Ten Hag and maybe try and get that last bit of noticeability. And maybe this could be also an audition for them to get some loan spells for this season. I'm not too sure, but what youth player are you looking forward to seeing the most out of this game if you do watch the game?
I'd probably say Evans, only because he's been given a 1-year contract, and if Maguire goes, obviously Evans would get a lot more game time than Maguire, but could Evans be the second or third starter as centre-back?
I wouldn't say second, because I don't think he's going to replace Varane or Martinez.
I mean, like, say if one of them got injured, like he would just be, if he got good enough.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, yes.
Always start. Always start.
Right, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, again, that's a good observation. I do feel like that Johnny Evans, I really don't know how I feel about the Johnny Evans situation. I'm happy with the signing, but football's weird, isn't it? It's just so strange. I just don't know how United have come to this. We're literally signing. Like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand what Johnny Evans is here for. I don't know whether he's here to be a mentor for the youth players or he's actually to be here for a part of the squad. I really don't know. But, you know, he's played well so far when he has played. So I won't be opposed to giving him that 1-year contract. But honestly, everyone, thank you for watching. Obviously, you can save this video to the end of the season when I do owe you £500. So, yeah. Obviously, I'm not paying Nick yet, but, you know, it's no doubt I will be paying him by the end of the season when United win the Champions League or the Premier League. But, yeah, thank you everyone that's been watching this evening. Obviously, check Nick out on Twitter and his other socials. His link is in the description below. He also does streaming on his own YouTube channel, so make sure you also check him out on there. But honestly, everyone, thank you for tuning in this evening, and have a good evening. And obviously, glory, glory, Man United. And if you can quickly leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new, then that'd be absolutely much appreciated. And we've got a special guest tomorrow, Michael Kojo, who is a very well-respected person in this industry. So stay tuned for that. That stream will be at 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So if you're free, make sure you're in the comments for that one, because it's going to be an absolute brilliant one. It will be for the Real Madrid preview as well. So it's no doubt it's going to be a great stream. But honestly, Nick, thank you for being a great guest as always. Thank you for the comments. And yes, thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you all very, very soon.